Start of narration. Do you know what hurts more than being cheated on? It's the slow, gut-wrenching realization that the person you built your life with, the one you trusted with your deepest secrets and vulnerabilities, was never really who you thought they were. He was a stranger, wearing a mask crafted from your own love and trust. That was my husband, Mark. For years, whenever my intuition screamed that something was wrong, he'd just pat my head and say, "You're being too emotional." He used my feelings as a weapon against me, twisting my genuine concern into a flaw. But I wasn't being emotional. I was being observant. My gut feeling wasn't paranoia. It was the truth, knocking desperately, trying to get my attention. The signs were all there, like breadcrumbs leading to a truth I didn't want to find. It started with the late-night calls he'd take in another room, his voice dropping to a hushed whisper. "It's just work," he'd say, a little too quickly. Then came the sudden, last-minute work trips. He'd pack his bag in a hurry, avoiding my eyes, the excitement in his demeanor just slightly off for someone heading to a boring conference. But the final, undeniable clue was the scent of perfume lingering on his shirts, a sweet floral fragrance that wasn't mine. My perfume is citrusy and light. This was heavy, cloying, the scent of someone else's presence clinging to him. Each clue was a small cut, but together they were bleeding me dry. There was a time I would have collapsed into a puddle of tears. I would have screamed, thrown things, demanded answers he would have easily lied his way out of. But this time was different. Something inside me shifted. The pain was still there, a cold, hard knot in my stomach, but it was accompanied by a new, chilling sense of clarity. My tears dried up, and in their place, a quiet, focused determination grew. I decided I wasn't going to be the emotional wife anymore. I was going to be the smart one. Instead of crying, I started collecting. I became a detective in my own life, and my mission was to uncover the full extent of his deception. Every lie he told, I knew, had a digital or physical footprint. He thought he was clever, but he was sloppy, blinded by arrogance. I started by putting a small GPS tracker in the lining of his work briefcase. Suddenly, his late nights at the office were revealed to be trips to a cozy little restaurant on the other side of town. His business conferences were weekend stays at boutique hotels. I took screenshots of everything, the hushed text message previews that flashed on his phone, his lock screen when he left it on the counter, the overly friendly comments from a particular woman on his social media. I even logged into our shared credit card account and meticulously documented every suspicious charge. Flowers I never received, dinners for two at romantic spots we'd never been to, and of course those hotel bills. Each piece of evidence was a brick, and I was slowly, silently building a wall of proof so high and so solid that not even his most charming lies could get over it. I gathered my evidence for months. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, living with him day in and day out, pretending everything was normal. I smiled when he kissed me goodbye, asked about his day when he came home, and played the part of the loving, unsuspecting wife. All the while, the folder of his deceit on my laptop grew thicker and thicker. There were voice notes he'd accidentally saved to our shared cloud, whispers of sweet nothings that weren't meant for me. There were photos, hotel receipts, and a timeline of his lies so detailed it could have been a court exhibit. The temptation to confront him, to just explode and show him everything, was immense. But I held back. A loud, messy fight would give him the chance to play the victim, to gaslight me again, to turn it all around on me. No, he didn't deserve a dramatic confrontation. He deserved a public humiliation. He deserved for the world he had so carefully constructed to come crashing down around him, and I was going to be the one to light the fuse. The perfect opportunity presented itself, our 10th wedding anniversary party. He had insisted on a big celebration, wanting to show off our perfect marriage to all our friends and family. It was almost poetic in its irony. He planned the venue, the guest list, the catering, all with the cheerful energy of a man who thought he had everyone fooled. I watched him, a small, knowing smile playing on my lips. He was unknowingly planning the stage for his own downfall. Our loved ones gathered, people who had watched us grow as a couple, who had celebrated our wedding, who believed in our love story. His parents were there, beaming with pride. My parents were there, happy for their daughter. His closest friends, who probably knew or at least suspected his secrets, were there, ready to toast to his duplicity. The evening went on, filled with laughter, music, and champagne. Mark was in his element, the charming host, his arm draped around my shoulders. He looked at me with what he probably thought was a loving gaze, but all I could see was the reflection of his lies in his eyes. Finally, the time came for toasts. He gave a beautiful speech, full of empty words about love, loyalty, and the wonderful decade we had shared. The applause was warm and genuine. Then, all eyes turned to me. I stood up, champagne glass in hand, my heart pounding not with nerves, but with a cold, thrilling resolve. I raised my glass. "I'd like to make a toast," I began, my voice steady and clear, carrying across the silent room. I looked directly at Mark, a calm smile on my face. "To my husband, Mark." I paused, letting the moment hang in the air. "Thank you. Thank you for teaching me a very important lesson this past year. You've shown me what betrayal truly looks like." A confused murmur rippled through the crowd. Mark's smile faltered, a flicker of panic in his eyes. Before he could say anything, I calmly turned, connected my phone to the large projector screen he had so thoughtfully set up for a photo slideshow of our happy memories, and pressed play. The first image that flashed on the screen wasn't a wedding photo. It was a screenshot of a text message. "Can't wait to see you tonight. She has no idea." The room went dead silent. The next slide was a photo of a hotel receipt, clearly showing a room for two. Then came another, a picture of his car parked outside an unfamiliar house, captured by the GPS tracker. A voice note played over the speakers, his voice, unmistakable, whispering, "I miss you more." The slideshow continued, a relentless parade of his infidelity laid bare for everyone to see. His messages, the hotel pictures, the GPS locations, it was all there, in high definition. I didn't look at the screen. I just watched him. The color drained from his face until he was as pale as the white tablecloths. His mother let out a strangled sob. His friends, the ones who had been clapping for him moments before, suddenly found the floor incredibly interesting. They wouldn't meet his eyes or mine. The entire room was frozen in a state of shocked, horrified silence. The only sound was the clicking of the slideshow as it revealed one sordid detail after another. He stood there, exposed and utterly broken, his carefully constructed world shattered into a million pieces in front of everyone he knew. When the last slide faded to black, I calmly turned back to him. I took off my wedding ring, the one he had placed on my finger 10 years ago, with promises of forever. I held it up for a moment, then let it drop with a soft plink into his untouched glass of champagne. I didn't say another word. I didn't need to. I gave him one last look. Not of anger, not of sadness, but of indifference. Then, I turned my back on him, on our life together, on the whole charade, and walked out of that room with my head held high. That was the last time he ever saw me. You see, revenge doesn't always have to be a loud, screaming match. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is served cold, with a quiet smile, in a room full of witnesses. It's the silent delivery of a truth so undeniable, it leaves nothing but ruins in its wake. If you love stories where justice is served and cheaters get exactly what they deserve, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss the next tale of karma we have coming your way. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.